This is Surf and Turf, a modern world history simulation created for the students at Mount Sophia Academy. The situations and main countries you encounter here are fictional, but the problems you face are very real. If, for example, you don't look over the rules and prepare for what is about to hit you next week, problem. Here is some of the information you need to know. One last note before we begin. I'm aware that the music playing right now is pretentious and overly dramatic, but it is freely available online without violating copyright, and frankly, I like it. Surf. Two countries facing each other across the Persian Gulf have never gotten along particularly well. Anasia is very small, of mixed racial and religious heritage, and has always had strong friendly relations with the rest of the world. It is a tourist haven and features lovely white beaches open practically all year. Byland is a large, sparsely populated desert country where well over 2/3 of the population are of the same racial and religious background. Unable to feed itself from the land, but exporting a great deal of oil to the developed world, Byland depends heavily on fishing for sustenance. Once a year, the waters of the Gulf between Anasia and Byland see the migration of the delectable dolphin, Dolphinus wimpius, a friendly, small, and particularly fragile species now on the endangered list. There are documented cases of a delectable dolphin dying from having a tourist child sneeze on it. Anasians are very aggressive in protecting this species, which is often seen by tourists bathing on its beaches. Bylanders, by contrast, look forward to the migration as the peak of their fishing season, a principal source of revenue and a staple food of their most holy religious festivals. International law holds that the ocean within 11 miles of the coast are national waters subject to local laws. In Anasia, harming a delectable dolphin can trigger the death penalty. An international ban on hunting the delectable dolphin has been ignored by Byland for 20 years since it was first instituted. The gulf between Anasia and Byland is about 30 miles wide, and reports of Byland boats coming within 2 miles of Anasian shores are common. In the past year, Bylander fishing fleets have been intercepted by Anasian zealots in pleasure craft trying to destroy their nets, divert their fishing lanes, and save the delectable dolphin. Bylander fishermen, quite accustomed to defending their coasts from foreign invaders, go armed into the fray and have sunk several Anasian boats with some loss of life. A few tourists from developed nations caught up in the enthusiasm have been on those boats, and reports are coming in that they have been taken prisoner. What should the General Assembly decide? What could the Security Council do? Turf. No one in the thriving state of Khosrelm is left-handed. It's part of the Constitution. The state-sponsored religion has crafted its edicts into the law of the country, which clearly specifies that the exclusive use of the left hand is a principal sign of the evil one. Khosrelm very coolly signed the Geneva Conventions and complies with accords issued by the UN. Penalties and verdicts under law are not applied to left-handedness, only to acts of sin. Citizens who wish to use their left hand for writing or eating must demonstrate a satisfactory degree of ambidexterity and pay an extra tax. Not surprisingly, there is a rather large population of Khosrelmian immigrants in neighboring Dosrelm. An extraordinary number of them appear to be left-handed. They tend to cluster in neighborhoods among natives of differing religion, language, and customs. Dosrelm requires 5 years of residence to qualify for citizenship. Most of the immigrants arrive quite destitute, as Khosrelm allows immigration, but imposes strict limits on exporting wealth or property. Khosrelm immigrants to Dosrelm do not assimilate very well, and the DOS realm government complains regularly about the added burden of supporting these immigrants, which it insists are political refugees. Some DOS realm immigrants, wanting change in their home country, cross the border to attack the religious institutions and authorities. Churches, always empty, have been set on fire, and various symbols of left-handed defiance erected in prominent places. The DOS realm government decries these acts of terrorism and demands cooperation from DOS realm in hunting them down. These demands fall on deaf ears. Both sides have regularly besieged the UN with resolutions and motions favoring their own side, and once or twice it seemed that war threatened, though presently things are not that hot. But last week, reports broke from the DOS realm immigrant community that the government of DOS realm has made significant breakthroughs in the pursuit of mastering atomic energy. The Constitution of DOS realm, in a direct quote from their holy book, calls for the extirpation of the evil one's agents wherever they are in the world. Suddenly, everyone knows the location of these two tiny Balkan nations. The DOS realm government loudly denies these claims as the propaganda of a discontented emigre population. It refuses to allow UN inspectors. DOS realm natives, finding a focus for their resentment, have reacted with a loud, popular call for deportation of DOS realm immigrants. Now, there have been outbreaks of disorder in the DOS realm immigrant settlements, who regard being sent back to DOS realm as a death sentence. What should the General Assembly decide? What could the Security Council do? This is Surf and Turf. Good luck.